Hey guys, welcome into the Sportscast here. It has been way too long. Today, let's talk about it. The NBA. NBA lottery, is it rigged? Let's talk about it on the Sportscast with your hosts Brian and Craig, or Brian and Jeff. What's going on, man?
It's going pretty good. What's going on with you?
It's going good, man. Going good. Just busy. But that's life. We've been a little MIA the last 2 weeks, graduations, and we went to a concert the week before, and we had graduation. So we'll get into that at the end of the episode here. Question of the day, Jeff, and I know we're a little bit late on the topic, but is the NBA lottery rigged? Did they rig it for the Mavericks? Was there some conspiracy that they said, hey, you trade Luka and we'll give you the number one pick, and we all know who the number one pick is in the draft. It's Cooper Flag. That's the conspiracy, right? Because the Mavs had a 1.8% chance to win. Were they really that lucky? Or did the NBA rig it? And this would not be the first time that they've been accused of rigging and freezing a lottery pick there and making sure the team they wanted to get the player got it. So I'm not going to say that the NBA in general is rigged, but I 100% believe that this lottery pick was rigged for the Mavericks. And it's the only way that trading Luka makes sense. And not only, like we've had this debate last episode. I think we talked about it, and Jeff, and you made a good point about, Luka's lack of what do you want to call it?
It's lack of conditioning.
Conditioning. There you go.
Effort. He's an all around insane talent offensively. Defensively, it falls into that category where if you do not have the ability to keep up with other talent, especially down the stretch when you're talking about playoffs, which defense is extremely important in the playoffs. We run into that whole thing where it's like, okay, well, Luka, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're getting beat. It's pretty obvious that, you have to understand whenever it comes to, as you get deeper into these playoffs, you start seeing a lot of these teams, and they have players that can play both sides of the court. And Luka, he just struggles at it. And this conditioning thing of Spain, the team in Spain having an issue with it, a team in Slavia having an issue with it, coming to the Mavericks also, it creeps up again. And the conditioning factor, yeah, I mean that's been something that seems to consistently be talked about. This isn't just a Dallas thing. I know that some people want to make it that. I think it's not just a Nico thing. Like they've talked to him before about it. So
yeah, and what did JJ Redick say about the Lakers? We need to be championship conditioning.
Yeah.
But like if you're gonna wrap your head around trading Luka, all right, you would have got the world back for him.
Right.
5 first-round picks, this guy, that guy, this guy. The only way this makes sense to me is, and I think this is seriously how it went. The NBA ratings have dropped off to, I wouldn't say it, probably an all-time low. No one's really watching it. It's become a soft league. And I believe that they went to the Mavericks and they said, hey, we need to shake things up. We need to get some viewership. We need to be talked about. How about you trade away Luka, okay, to the Lakers? And you can't ask for everything in return that you would usually get, because we want to get LeBron another ring before he goes out. We want to get him another ring. We want the Lakers to be relevant again. And in doing so, you're going to take a lot of heat. We understand that we're going to give you the number one pick. And it works out well for you because Cooper Flag seems to be the next superstar. That's the only way I can wrap my head around the lack of talent they got back for Luka, and makes this make sense. That's the only way it makes sense. That the crap that they got back for him. No offense, Anthony Davis. Now that you're on the Mavericks, I hope you do a lot of good and stay healthy. But the stuff you got for him was not what you should have got for him, and this is the only way it makes sense. And I 100% believe that. And a lot of people do that now. And at the end of the day, when this happened, when the Mavericks got the draft pick, and first of all, I thought it was a joke. My buddy Ryan texted me and said, Mavericks got their own pick. And I said, You're kidding me. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, no, I swear, dude. I swear on the Bible. It's true. They got their one pick. It was just laughable. It seemed like, okay, this has got to be rigged. So, Jeff, I don't know if you think the same or we talked about this the other day a little bit, but what's your take on that?
It's hard for me to envision that it's fully rigged. I'm not going to sit there and say there wasn't something weird going on. And the teams tank, right? I mean, we saw the Mavericks do it around the time when they got Derek Lively. They got fined for it, obviously, but that's kind of it. And I think what ends up happening is it's like, well, how does the other teams who have a higher percentage chance of getting number one pick, why are they all just dropping down to like 5 and 8? And it's because the league doesn't want it. The league is saying you're not doing that. You're going to, and it's like, well, it's like some people got frustrated, like, oh, the Spurs got second, and that they don't deserve that. I mean, they're so close to, doing stuff and getting and being relevant, especially with Wemby part of the team and building around him. Why do they get number 2 pick? Well, I mean, they weren't good, but they at least tried. Right, the Mavericks, with all that went said and done, it's not that they didn't try. They went and played play in, and that was it. They were decimated with injuries. But if you go and you look at Houston, or not Houston, Utah. Utah's admitted they tanked. And I'm like, yeah, well,
it's bad for the sport.
You admit it. Then it's going to cause problems for your team. It's going to cause problems for your odds of getting a higher pick in the lottery. I'm not going to sit there and be the person that says the whole thing is 100%, because I do think that there are elements in there that people have complained about over the years. This isn't like a new thing, right? You've heard of teams tanking on purpose. The Mavericks have done it in the past. Other teams have done it in the past. I think Cleveland's done it to try to rack up more and more lottery picks. I think Oklahoma at one point was doing it as well. But like at one point they just got fined if they found out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they attacked them in the draft and purposely said, you know what? No. Like, we're not going to do this. So it seems like now that's the case. So if you tank in the NBA, and everyone kind of knows it, you're not just going to get a fine. You're just not going to get a high pick.
Yeah. Well, and when I say the lottery's rigged, I don't think the whole. I just think they said Mavericks are getting number 1 pick, and then after that we'll see. But I do like the that thought, Jeff, of, hey, if you're going to tank and you're going to sit your players and you're going to do this, it's bad for the league. And instead of getting that chance to get the 1, 2, or 3 pick, you're going to pick in the 5, 6, 7, or 8, or maybe lower. Maybe you don't get a top 10 pick. I like that. I think the league has to do something, right? That the NBA is become hard to watch. It used to be one of my favorite sports, and now it's my 4th favorite sport. I got 4 favorite sports, and it's the 4th one now. I used to love watching Kobe Bryant play in the Lakers back in the day. It just seems like that competitive. It's just a 3-point shooting contest, and it's soft. That's what it's turned into. And when the Mavericks traded Luka, I was done. I said, I don't want to watch this. This is ridiculous. And now that the Mavericks got the number 1 pick and they're going to draft Cooper Flag, I'm back in, baby. I think a lot of Mavs fans feel that way. I know you feel that way. We talked about it on the phone, but it gives us a little more hope that this team's going to be good now that Cooper Flag is coming. We're excited to see him. We're excited as Laker fans. And no,
I look at it and I know whenever it happened, it was kind of a shock. It was a shock to me as well. I don't know if what's going on with your camera, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. I think I need to update it, but
okay. I was like wondering if that was just the service, what we're using, or if there was the camera. So anyway, when it happened, I wasn't quite sure if Brian. I thought Brian was kind of just joking, like when he is like, "Oh yeah, they got the number 1 pick," and I'm like, "What?" Or no, I think he started out with they got the top 4, and I was like,
"Yeah, so we're in there. We're in the top."
I'm like, "What?" And then we got the top 1, and then you were like, "What's going on?" Like they're gonna get Cooper Flag. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I had to come home. I literally came home, and for like the rest of the night, I was sitting there just YouTubing constantly, like what, like seeing reactions to it, all this stuff. You know, whether or not it's rigged or not, I think that it is odd. This team has been completely dismantled from the worst case possible to injuries to ownership raising prices to the fan base completely giving up on it. And, you know, it's just like, what more could happen, basically, right? What's the worst that could happen? Everyone basically heads out. You know what I mean? Like Kyrie leaves, Clay leaves, AD leaves at some point, and they blow the whole thing up, and they're just back to nothing. While Luka's in LA and drawing attention and getting talent over there because they want to play with him. That would be probably the worst case scenario for the Mavericks. And at that point, I think we would go back to the dark days before Dirk, where we really didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, there's some really dark days.
So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm upset about it. I think I mentioned it to you. I'm not going to cry that, oh no, maybe did something happen? I don't know. But all I know is they have the pick. And, you know, it's frustrating maybe to fans of the Jazz because, you know, you could have had something. But again, you know, you're not in the same position as the Mavericks as well. I think the Mavericks are a little bit they're built right now a little bit better at a run at something versus Utah. And then, you know, and then it's like you have the 76ers. Some of those fans are super upset. But I'm just like, I'm not going to be upset about it. Like I look at it and I'm like, this fan base needed this desperately. They were so close to burning the house down, you know, and they got really close to it, actually, probably. But I think now you have an ownership group that came in that didn't know anything about basketball. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. Like, how did Nico? How was Nico able to do what he was able to do? And anyway, so how would that happen? It's like, well, I think that the ownership was like, hey, yeah, we trust you. We don't know anything about this. We're a hotel, you know, conglomerate, and we we just want to have fun. Maybe get a casino here, maybe have a casino business with casino business when it comes to like trying to have an entertainment hub similar to how the NFL does it, right? Where you have all these little places around that kind of all center around this one thing. And I think that's what the ownership group was initially wanting to do. But what ends up happening is you have Nico Harrison, who's just there. He just does, he literally had the keys to the kingdom and did whatever he wanted to do. And the result is they traded a player. They didn't think, because this ownership group had no idea how to run a sports franchise, basically, they got a real big crash course into what to not do. And now that they have this pick, you're starting to see things change a bit, where they're like, Nico, maybe you need to have somebody have a check and balance with you. Yeah. Maybe things need to run by me before we make a decision.
Yeah, they had.
And it seems like that's the case now, which fine. Like he made it. He did it to himself. And so, ultimately I can't sit there and say I'm mad about that. If this was any other franchise, the Dallas Cowboys, for example, maybe that's something they get frustrated with, because it's like, stop meddling in, right? Let the other people figure it out that know how to do it. But this guy clearly didn't know how to do it, and he just went ahead and did something, and ownership was like, I guess that's right, and then it wasn't. So now that they have this diamond, they're not going to let Nico do whatever he wants with this team whenever he wants with this team. He's not going to have free reign like he did before. Everything's going to have to run by Dumont, basically part owner of the Mavericks. So, and he's even admitted that. Like, some of the stuff coming out of that after they got that pick was literally like Dumont came out and literally said to somebody, and then they reported it and quoted him on it, said that we're not getting rid of the pick. That came straight from the ownership. That didn't come from Nico. That tells you right there what's going on.
Yeah, he said, don't even call us. We're drafting Cooper Flag, and that's it. You're 100% right. And look, Nico, before trading Luka, made some great picks for us. PJ Washington, brought in Gafford. We were like, okay, all right, we're pitting a decent team around here. He made some good decisions. And then traded Luka, and everyone was like, this guy's got to go. I was one of them too. I'm not going to lie. Hopefully Nico turns it around. I don't know. This is the only way. I did not see the Mavericks in the number one pick. I did not see this happening. When they did, I said, this might be the only way that Nico saves his job this season and he continues to go forward. He's got a lot of pressure. I think Dumont, the owner, after all the heat they took, because honestly, Nico came out and said it himself. He knew Luka was loved. Didn't know he loved him that much, which we all thought that was stupid. And I guarantee he sold that to Dumont. And he said, hey, we're going to trade him. It'll be all right. They'll be a little unhappy, but when we win, things will change. They were injured. You didn't see the team they wanted to put out there on the court this season because of that. And it made things go from bad to worse after trading Luka. So Dumont made him sit down and do a closed door interview. And Nico said it. And then 2 days later, they had a regular interview with the cameras and he said, yeah, Dumont made me do this one or made me do that one. And we're here again because I wasn't very clear on the answers I gave. So I think Dumont was fed up with it, going, hey, you've got to answer to this because you're the one that did it and you're the one that told me it was a good idea. So hopefully he's checked and balanced the season. Hopefully getting Cooper Flag in here and playing with learning behind Kyrie and Anthony Davis and Gafford and Lively and Klay Thompson, if he's here next season, and all these guys, the Mavericks will be back to being one of the best teams in the NBA. I could see that 100%. And Cooper Flag is 18 years old, going to turn 19 in December. He's got a lot of learning to do, probably about the NBA. But Mavs fans now are excited, and I think the only
I mean, as much as a Mav fan, right? I'm not quite sure how many Mav fans listen, but I will say this, and Craig is a Mavs fan. He's obviously Brian is a transplant.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Can't argue that.
so what I will say something. And I know it may frustrate the fan base, but I think the fan base would understand it and probably agree. Not even quite sure if Ryan is Ryan a Mad fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ryan's everything Texas.
So Luka, amazing, awesome. Right.
About to lose some
We
viewers.
love him. He's awesome. Okay. But I'm going to tell you something about someone tried comparing the two. And I was like, you can't compare. First of all, Cooper Flag hasn't played a game. That's ridiculous to even compare both.
Yeah.
They play different ways. Like Cooper Flag's style is not the same as Luka's style. Luka's is a ball facilitator. He is the pilot to the ship kind of thing, or to the plane. He's the captain of the ship, and I don't think Cooper Flag is that. I think he's a leader, but I don't think he's a ball facilitator like that. But what I like with Cooper Flag, what I like is the fact that he plays really, really good defense. Luka needs, and very much like Dirk, needs to have a defensive-minded team as well as people that can score when he's off or not having a great night or hurt or whatever. Needs a break. Same with Luka. We literally, you go and take a look at the Mavericks team that went to the finals this last season or the season before last, and look what made him get there. It was defense. You go back, you look at the times that the Mavericks went to the finals with Dirk. Literally defense. That's what got him there. That's what got him to win. And that was it. That was the one thing the Mavericks did not have. That's the one thing that Dirk struggled with. That's the one thing you needed to then build a team that had people who could play defense with Dirk, scoring how he scores. And that's what got us over the hump, basically. Same thing with Luka. The moment we added two big centers in that game, or in the Mavericks game, with Kyrie, it changed. Things changed. They were a different team. You add that with a couple other pieces that were also defensive heavy type pieces that could still score somewhat, right? They still get their shot, but their main focus was defense. So with Cooper Flag, you don't really have to build the team like that. You can kind of build the team based off of how you kind of want to build around a team, right? If you want Cooper Flag to be a more, and this is probably what we're going to see this season, he'll be a guy who will play defense, obviously, but he'll also be a guy that they'll facilitate into the offense where he will be by himself. There will be people that won't be paying attention to him because they're going to challenge him, basically. But Kyrie's going to be controlling this, right? So I just think that now that you have, when the Mavericks, when they won that championship, they got Kidd, right? Kind of like Kyrie in a way in terms of ball facilitating. And then they had shooters and they had defensive pieces. And that's what built the team. But I just think that with Cooper Flag, you don't have to worry about the defensive side of the ball. When Luka was playing defense, it was very just dude,
yeah,
you're just not. Unfortunately, whoever's going up against you is going to have a pretty good night.
I wasn't a Mavs fan at that time when Dirk went on and won the championship, but that is still the best championship run I think we'll ever see.
It was the Mavericks, it was incredible.
The way who they faced, they swept my Lakers and Kobe Bryant, and they go on to beat
Oklahoma.
They go on to beat Oklahoma with those three stars they had, and then they go and beat Wade and Bosh and LeBron. The best single-handedly best playoff championship run we'll ever see.
I mean, you went through 3 of the toughest opponents you could ever go through. And I think we went through. Did we go? I think we go through the Spurs too. I can't remember.
I'm not sure who was the first round. I think barely. I think they barely snuck to the first.
Yeah,
and then they sweep the Lakers.
Yeah,
and they beat Oklahoma in 6, and they go and beat Miami in 6.
5.
Was it 5?
They beat him in 5.
5 or 6.
I think. Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, speaking of playoff basketball, here we have Jeff, and I'm excited for these 4 teams left. You have Oklahoma versus Minnesota, and you have New York Knicks versus Indiana. And this is a new team we haven't seen win a championship in a really, 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 really long time.
Yeah.
The other night, the New York Knicks pissed away the opportunity to win that game. They were up by like 14 with 2 minutes left, and lost in overtime. Indiana's a fun team to watch. Rick Carlisle is the head coach there, so it'd be interesting to see him go back. I'm really rooting for Oklahoma, though. I want Oklahoma to win. They are they're very young. This is a team, Jeff, that was bad for so long, and they kept getting number 1 picks and top 3 picks and number 1 picks and top 5 pick, and all these guys are on the team are a lot of guys they drafted and grew, and it's fun. They're a fun team to watch. Right now they're losing pretty handily to Minnesota, but they have a 2-0 lead over them in the series. Minnesota's up 42-20 in the second period, and right now the Pacers are up 2-0 over the Knicks in that series. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm just glad to finally see 4 different teams with the opportunity and not seeing the same teams back and back and back. And so that's nice to see for the NBA as well.
I mean, yeah, I think this is, somebody was talking, I forgot who it was. It was brought it up, but there was a guy, I forgot who I heard or listened to or something. Anyway, he was kind of like, oh, Cooper Flag is a player who could play in the NBA in the 90s, based off of his style. And I was like, let me look that up. So I saw him play. I saw some clips of him, and I'm like, yeah, he kind of does have that weird, dog mentality about him, or his defense is very aggressive, and it's in a way like that. I just hope I hope the league in my mind, I hope the league is maybe changing a bit.
I hope so, and I think they've got to, if they want this sport to continue, and have some success. We just talked about they had really bad ratings this last year, so
that's kind of what I'm hoping happens, is maybe as we're ending the Steph Curry era, maybe it's time to change it back to a little bit of more of that defensive minded type of teams as well, where it's not necessarily about scoring 100 and some odd points in a game. It's more of like, okay, that block at the end there won the game. Like, so that's kind of how I'm kind of looking at it a little bit, is maybe this is a difference that is a little bit exciting, because we've been having kind of the same style of offense for so long. So,
well, and you look at,
and defense has been considered not important.
I think it really goes to, you look at the eras of basketball, and you look at who was leader, right? What they allowed to let happen. Michael Jordan, best basketball player. In his era, you think he was soft? You think he didn't play defense? And he played. the All-Star games. He showed up to show out. He played defense. They played defense back in the day. Kobe Bryant's era, where he was the best there was.
Right.
They weren't soft. And who's in the league right now? LeBron.
Right.
Mr. Flop himself.
Mm-hmm.
That they literally said, I've heard stories about him in the All-Star game going, we're not playing physical. We're not going to play defense. They don't do NBA dunk contests anymore. Like Jordan was an NBA dunk contest. You know what I mean? Like LeBron, no. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's a different breed. And, you know, Steph Curry's 3-point shooting from half court, and you can't put a hand on a player anymore as a foul. It's gotten hard to watch. But all right, well, I think it's about time, Jeff, we transition into some NFL, as we've had the NFL schedule come out. All right. You know, I know I've looked at the Packers schedule. You've looked at the Broncos schedule, and we looked at schedule around the league and kind of pinpoint some games out. But I want to get this, and I wish Craig was on here to talk about it a little bit, because something's going to happen to the Cowboys this season that's never happened in the history of football ever. They play 4 games in a row, Jeff. And those 4 games in a row, all 4 of those teams have won 14 games or more the previous season. And then in that same stretch, I think it's 7 teams or 6 teams have all won 11 games or more. So the Cowboys have got to win early in the year, because the last part of their schedule is going to be brutal. All right, brutal. So let's look at it. All right, you got the Eagles. Sunday, the game, week 12. Thanksgiving, you got the Chiefs, which usually the Thanksgiving game for them is a easy win, you know. Then you got Detroit, December 4th, at Detroit in the cold. Then you got Minnesota. They all won 14 games last year. And then you got the Chargers. And then you got the Commanders. That final part of your season. Now, the last game's against the Giants. You'll probably win that one. Is going to be tough sledding for the Dallas Cowboys. They better win early. Better start off the year with some wins, because that's going to be tough. Now, we all know the season starts out with the Cowboys and Eagles. Okay, if you win the Super Bowl, you get the opening game the next season. Thursday Night Football, September 4th. Cowboys travel to Philadelphia on the road. Wow. They are tested day 1 against this Philadelphia Eagles, who coming off the Super Bowl. That should be a great matchup to open it up. And then they got a Friday night game, September 5th. You got Kansas City Chiefs at the Chargers. So this year, the Thanksgiving schedule is going to be lit. All right. Going to be lit. You got Kansas City Chiefs at the Cowboys. You got the Ravens. Let's see. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. I had it up here a while ago. Let's see. Thanksgiving. Okay. Green Bay at Detroit opens the day off. All right. Yeah. Going to be a great game. Kansas City at Dallas. And then you finish the night with your turkey legs with Cincinnati at Baltimore. Whew. Man, those are 3 star-studded games on Thanksgiving. Thank you. Yeah. They heard my gripe last year. I'm like, is this the best you can do for us on Thanksgiving? Gonna be great. Gonna be some great football to watch. Black Friday, the next day, you got Chicago at Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, my question is, is there anybody that is anybody listening that's excited for this upcoming season? Are there any matchups, especially opening week matchups, that are interesting? It's always fun to get this. We know the opponents, we know home and away, but we don't necessarily know the dates. So it's exciting for NFL fans to get that information. So that they can kind of get an idea, right?
Planning trips.
Right. And even with it being like Broncos, right? My team is Denver. So, us playing Cowboys, that doesn't happen often. I think it's like every 4 years or something ridiculous like that.
Packers, Broncos. We play this season.
Packers, Broncos. I don't even remember the last time. Oh, I actually do. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings, Brian.
Yeah.
And we lost.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's been a long time, like, since, certain things. So it's fascinating, but I think it's, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a crazy season.
Now it is. And I like that, you go through and you look at it and you start scheduling those games that you must watch. I wanted to go to the Cowboys Packers game in Dallas this season, and maybe I'll have to see tickets come down because I wasn't paying those prices. But for the first time, the league will also have a record 7 international games this year. 7.
Yeah, Denver's one of them,
including the first regular season games in Ireland and Spain. 3 games will take place in England, 1 in Germany, and 1 in Brazil.
Oh, now, the Brazil, I think, is Denver. I can't remember. I know we're in one of them.
I hope not, Jeff, because Green Bay opened up the year last year playing the Eagles in Brazil, and our quarterback almost got his knee ripped in half, and the teams are sliding all over the field because it sucked. And I said, before when schedule came out, I was complaining about it because the fields aren't made for football; they're made for soccer, and my quarterback gets injured. Game 1, I'm going, oh my God, this is terrible. So I don't want an international game. I'm glad Green Bay left off that list this season. Somebody, I forget who, plays back-to-back games internationally. And I don't think it's like in the same stadium. I think they go somewhere and then they travel. I'm like, that's insane. That sucks for the team.
It does. And it kind of sucks for fans too, because we can't really, I mean, you could watch it live, but then you're like, what time?
You gotta wake up at 4 a.m. to catch
right? Because if not, then someone's going to spoil it, obviously.
And it sucks too, because if that's considered your home game, well, if you live in the town, well, there's one game I can't go to, but it's great for the NFL as far as getting out there, and stuff. So it kind of goes both ways. I don't want my team playing. Every other team, by all means, you guys go out there. It didn't bode well for us last year when we did it. So
right. For anybody listening, we did talk about the Cooper flag and NBA lottery stuff, just so that, and I see people coming in, but it's like, I don't know if they see the title and they think obviously we're talking about NFL stuff. We did talk about that. So I will, we'll put the notes in the timestamps and stuff after this. But yeah, if you want to see that, then we talked about that at the beginning. But now we're getting into at least NFL scheduling stuff and kind of what we're excited about, maybe what we're not excited about, and especially if it comes down to us playing on soccer fields.
Yeah. Christmas Day, Jeff.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys at Washington Commanders. Boom. Detroit at Minnesota. Boom. Denver Broncos at Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Hoping to leave them a little loss in there. Is there a Santa Claus present?
I hope so. I mean, last time we lost by a freaking blocked field goal, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I hope so. I hope we end up winning I don't know. I always look to split with the Chiefs at this point, because I'm just like, hey, if we could split, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. But if they sweep us, then I'm frustrated, because like we had opportunities to win, especially honestly this year we had opportunities to beat them twice. So it's like with that, losing that field goal block by a block field goal was just absolutely ridiculous, and it's just frustrating because I'm like, they're not that good. So it's just like, come on.
Yeah, they did not have a great year last year. They would win games by the chin of their chinny chin chin, and he would block field goal. I'm like, all right, that's all. And then he blocked. I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's okay. Packers beat the Bears that way this season. They blocked a field goal and won the game. I look at the Packers schedule this year, and it's tough. I ain't gonna lie, it's tough. We got our bye week 5. I hate the early bye. It sets you up for a long path to get to the Super Bowl. We start off versus Detroit, then we play the Commanders, and then we play the Browns, which should be an easy win. We play the Cowboys in Dallas. We get a bye week, and then we play Cincinnati. I'm like, oh man, Joe Burrow. Arizona should be an easy win. Then we play Pittsburgh, and it might be Packers versus Aaron Rodgers. Still haven't figured that out yet. Mm-hmm. Then we play Carolina. We got Philadelphia. Then we go to New York, play the Giants. Should be an easy win. We got Minnesota, Detroit. We don't play Chicago until week 14. That's the first time we play Chicago. Then it's at Denver, week 15. Then we're playing Chicago again. And then Baltimore.
It always cracks me up when they do
and then
that.
Minnesota.
It's like you got a divisional game, and then you're gonna go play another team, and then come back to finish that divisional game. It's like, can you not just stack them like that? Can't you just sprinkle them out a little bit? Like, you don't want to have to face that same team twice in literally 2 weeks. It's like
we got the Chicago sandwich with the Broncos penciled in between there. We finished the season at Minnesota. But that Baltimore game, too, in Green Bay ought to be an interesting one. We've got this is going to be a tough schedule for the Green Bay Packers this year. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I know obviously you have our division that we have to deal with. But in terms of Denver, let me just see real quick, because I'm very curious as to who. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, to start it off, we have. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, week 1 we have that's preseason. Oh, Tennessee. Okay,
that should be easy.
We play the Colts, week 2. Then it's the Chargers. That'll be interesting. Week 3. Then it's the Bengals.
Tough.
That's in Denver, so that's actually going to be quite interesting. We played them last year. We played them there, so this year it's different. So we'll see. Again, that's going to be an interesting game. Then we play Philadelphia, week 5.
Ooh.
That's at Philly. I don't know about that game. Then week 6, the Jets. And I think that's so we play Philly, and then we might as well not get in the airplane. We might as well just drive there because we play the Jets the next week. Then it's at home for the Giants, at home for Dallas, on the road for Houston. Play the Raiders finally. We haven't played the Raiders at this point, and we're already now in week 10. Then we play Kansas City. That's I think November 16th. That's week 11. Then we have a bye week 12, which is nice. Actually, I like it. I like having a bye right there.
Yeah, it's that's a perfect bye.
Yeah, it is. And then we play the Commanders week 13. Yeah, in DC. Then it's again playing the Raiders, another divisional game, literally right after playing after a bye week, after we played the Chiefs. They go play the Raiders now.
Better stop Genty
in Vegas.
That's all you got to do there.
Then week 15 on December 14th, we play Green Bay in Denver. That'd be a very interesting game. That's an early game. Ugh. I wish it was a later
12
game.
o'clock.
No, it's not. Well, it's like 2:25. I just wish it was. I thought it would be. I don't know. I think that would be interesting, like later game than that. But then Jacksonville, week 16. Then week 17, Kansas City. So literally to end the season, we have 2 divisional games: Kansas City and Chargers.
Nice.
Okay. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. I don't think. Maybe it happened last year, but
I like it. I like it that way just because if it's close, your division's close. Man, those games could come down to the division winners.
it could.
And we talked. I not trying to change subject here, but the owners got together and voted on a couple things this week, and the Lions, they put out an NFL playoff seating changing. And then before they voted on it, the Lions pulled it off the table for some reason unknown to us. But we talked about it before that the 4 division winners would get a playoff spot, obviously.
Yeah.
But the seeding would go to the highest. It would go from the wins. Doesn't matter if you won your division or not, because we've seen it before where the Packers' whole division last season, we would have been 1, 2, and 3 pretty much. So I like that just because I thought it would have brought out more entertaining games, more to play for at the end of the year to get that higher seeding. But they pulled that off the table. Didn't even vote on that one. And the tush push missed being banned by 2 votes.
Someone changed their votes then, I think.
22 to 10 was the vote ratio. You have to have 24 votes to get the job done.
Yeah.
They released the teams who voted yay and nay on it, and obviously the whole NFC East voted to ban it. Packers voted to ban it. They're the one that started this anyways, and we got a lot of flack for it, but a lot of teams want it banned. And I think I go back and forth on it, right? I don't like the play, but I'm like, all right, well then learn how to do it yourself and do it like the Eagles do it and get the easy first down. But here's the rule. The ruling would be basically that no one can push a ball carrier. Yeah. And I think that takes away a lot of fun plays where you see the running back getting stuffed, and then you see the offensive line just come and shove him and carry him forward.
Yeah.
I think you'll miss out on some of those dynamic plays. Without this, with banning this, I think you might have missed out on some other things because there's nothing that says the defense can't push and pile up. And so I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it. Do I really care if it's banned? I don't think so. I don't think I really care that much. My team doesn't use it a lot. The teams I think that really should care about it a lot is obviously the Eagles because they use this more than anybody and they perfected it. But is the NFC East because they got to play this team twice a year. They got to find a way how to stop it. So those are the teams that probably care more than most. But it did not pass. So the tush push will continue. Your mic's muted.
Sorry. I'm not necessarily like I'm not necessarily worried about the tush push. We'll play him this year, so maybe I'll find out.
Right.
But I just think that there's so many other factors afterwards, right? They don't just do the tush push at the goal line.
Yeah.
They can, but they don't necessarily do that. It's kind of like, so I've seen tush push at try to get a first down, that kind of thing. A lot. So it's like, okay, but once they get the first down, you still have the opportunity to stop them, right? Yeah. You still have the opportunity to shut it down and at least force them to do something besides the tush push. But so I mean, we'll see. I can understand the frustration a bit, but also obviously not every team has a problem with it. Yeah. So if they did, then this would be unanimous and there would be no question. But But I think it's a situational thing that is so. It doesn't happen every play. I think that's the thing, is it's not happening like every play, and it's an unstoppable thing. People have stopped this play before. Let's not forget, like, there are teams that have shut that down. And it's tush push isn't 100% foolproof. So I mean, there's kinks to the armor, and that's with any team. Now, can the NFL teams and coaches figure a way out to stop it successfully? Then that would eliminate the tush push entirely. But until then,
Yeah.
We'll still see it, and eventually, I mean, just like with anything in the NFL and anything in any sport, once somebody does it enough times, then you'll find some guy who's like, I got it, I figured it out. Some defensive coordinator, like in a closet, that's like an assistant to the coordinator, is going to come out and go, I got it, I figured it out. And then he's going to be successful at it. And obviously, then every team's going to be like, well, we're going to copy that. Like, anytime we know that's coming, this is what we're going to do. So it's just,
I would like to see
they'll figure it out. But
I would like to see some trick plays now. Snap it between the quarterback's legs to the running back in the back. And everyone's going, and then running backs down the sideline. Everybody knows
that would be
it.
wild. That would be everybody knowing that it's a tush push coming, and it's like, man, we know. But yeah, that's funny because that's like a Sean Payton. That's what Sean Payton would do. Honestly, he would do something wild like that. He did that in the freaking playoffs against the Bills. He did something weird, and I was like, what?
And it's like a lot of teams. I get it. Not everybody's quarterback benches or squats 700 pounds and have tree trunk legs. Okay. Hurst is an animal, but a lot of quarterbacks, there are a lot of teams that want to risk their quarterback doing that. Patrick Mahomes got injured doing that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is it really worth the risk? So
that's why a lot of people are like, well, why doesn't every team do it? I'm like, they can't. Yeah. Like, you don't want that. You do run a risk, and the moment, I'll tell you this much, there might be a moment where Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
Oh yeah.
Because of this. And the moment that happens, the severity of that injury may end this thing altogether. They may go, you know what? Nah, we're not doing it anymore because he broke his, leg in two places and he's out for the rest of the year. Like, that will if it causes them to completely fall apart in a season and they miss the playoffs, or they maybe make the playoffs and just get bounced the first round, I don't think you're out Jalen Hurts for whatever time he was off and whatever going into next season, possibly, depending on how severe the injury is. It's not worth it. And then once that happens, I don't think they do it. I think they say, you know what, no more. We're just going to play without doing that play. But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. But we'll see. Any other NFL news there, Jeff, that you can think of?
Colts owner died.
Oh, I forgot about Jim Irsay. How did I forget that? That was kind of died at the age of 65. It was kind of weird because he tweeted out some things about go Indiana Pacers because they're in the playoffs. Yeah. Went to take a nap, and he never woke back up. And he's had some medical stuff before. So we'll see where the Colts go from here. It's always sad. Someone died, and I know we don't think of 65 as a young age, but that's still, I'm like, oh man, he had kind of a longer life to live there. The good Lord called him home, and what I think is cool about it now is he's a girl dad like myself. He has, I think, 3 or 4 daughters, and he has been raising them around the game and teaching them about football and to run it. So we'll see them take over and go from here. Now, one cool story they were talking about on the sports radio the other day about Irsay, and I don't know a whole lot about Jim Irsay. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do, but one cool story is when he took over as GM, he took over the GM at 23 years old, Jeff. He was very young. and he tried to do things on his own, and he he realized real quick, I'm not a football guy. I don't know. So he went out and hired a GM that knew football. And there's not a lot of guys like that these days that I'm going to get the team. I'm going to run how I want to. I don't care. He said, no, I need to do this the right way. I'm going to get somebody here that knows what I'm talking about or knows what they're talking about when it comes to football. And I'll learn as I go forward. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the fact that he's an NFL GM at the age of 23 or 24 is insane as well too. So, but yeah, we'll see where the Colts go from here, but it's sad for the Indianapolis Colts fans, and a lot of players loved him. You can tell when something tragic happens, and you have these players coming out, and telling great stories about Jim Irsay and the kind of person he was, and so it was good to see that. So, but
yeah,
sad
I
news.
saw a little bit of Peyton Manning talking about it. And he had an interesting story. Like, they knew they were going to draft him, so like the day before, and I guess I don't know how they would have known. I don't remember I don't know if Peyton Manning was first overall pick, or not. I don't know how they would have known that they were getting him, but they knew. They literally called him like the day before, and they said, "We're going to go ahead and take you." And they said, "What's your jersey size?"
Yeah, he was number one pick.
Number one pick. So, and then he told them the jersey size, and then they had them custom make the jersey for the number he wanted, and shipped it out to him before the draft, so that when he was like one of the only players to go up in the draft holding up his actual jersey number.
That's cool,
which is pretty wild. And so
that's cool.
And I think he was. I think the owner, he went there to actually personally stand on stage with him. I can't remember, but which is different. You don't see that ever.
Yeah.
So there was some stuff there, and I know there was tension between him and Peyton Manning, I guess, when they got Andrew Luck and sending him, telling him that they weren't going to bring him back, or they weren't going to, and just things like that. There was some tension, and I think some hurt feelings. But I think being put all that to the side, I think Peyton Manning liked him. I think that he enjoyed being a Colt the time he was there. So, and then obviously he saw the talent. So I mean, him in the front office saw the talent, and they will forever be known as the people that maybe really were like, you know what, this guy is another level kind of quarterback, and he was. Not his first year. First year was pretty horrible, but
he turned it around.
He ended up being pretty good. So it was cool to see that, see Peyton Manning talk about him, because I know how important the Colts were to Peyton Manning starting his career and stuff. So I don't know. Did Andrew Luck say anything about him?
No, not that I've seen.
Interesting.
Andrew Luck's gonna fall on face of the earth. No one hears from this guy anymore.
And that's how he wants it, but
yeah, he probably is.
But I would assume he would have made a statement about this.
Maybe
it's kind of
he
a
did
big
draft
deal.
him, and
yeah, they did. They did. I mean, and they tried to get him to, but he just retired.
He's like, can't do this anymore.
But
one of the craziest walkaway stories in sports. I mean, that's a documentary that'll need to happen. Speaking of documentaries, Netflix dropped the Rise and Fall of Brett Favre documentary. You've seen it? I haven't seen it yet. Man, I haven't seen it yet. I knew it was coming out, and I turned on Netflix today, and I was like, oh, it's out. I couldn't sit down and watch it then. I might watch it tonight as I smoke some pork. But Jeff, I ain't got much other than that. I think it's about that time we asked the question.
Well, I just wanted, so no, I I have some
What
baseball
else?
stuff.
I'm
Sorry,
put a pause
Brian,
on
that we
talking
swept
baseball
the
right now.
Rangers there. I didn't expect us to sweep the Rangers, but
You score more than 2 runs, you've won. It doesn't. We
but then
we
we
just
lost
lost
the
to the White
Rockies.
Sox.
We lost to the Rockies
Oh,
yesterday,
yeah.
so we gave them their 9th win, of course, because that's just going to happen. And then we just demolished them today, like 1-13 or whatever it was, or 2-13. So yeah, baseball's going. Craig, I don't think he's a big Giant fan, so I don't know where he's. I think his Giants are doing pretty good, but hockey, anything. It's playoff time. It's what the Stars are in it.
Stars are in. They're in the conference finals. They one more series win. We go to the championship. Well, game 1. That's 1-1. In game 1, we were down 3-1 in the third, and we scored 5 goals and won 6-3. So that was insane. The insanest third period I've ever seen in my life. And then we lost last night 3-0. So absolute Oilers are good. They give us fits. This is not a good matchup for us. They injured Rupe Hentz, so hopefully we come out with a vengeance. Guys slashed him super hard. Should have been a 5-minute major. It wasn't. And now Rupe Hentz is injured. Guy just literally like baseball smacks him in the leg, and he goes down. And they have to walk him off the ice, and where everyone's hot, like Dallas Stars fans wanting to jump the ice and beat up this guy, and it's just a 2-minute penalty. We're like, how is this not a 5-minute major? We lose the game 3-0. It is what it is. We split the games at home. We want to win both at home, but we'll go there and the Stars are a resilient team, and hopefully we go all the way this year. But we'll see. Playoff hockey is one of the funnest playoffs in sports, man. It's great. I've been watching more hockey this year, and looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. But Stars are kicking butt. So we'll see what happens on the road. But
yeah, exciting stuff, dude.
Yeah, with the Rangers, I've just kind of slowed down on watching a little bit. That they're so pathetic on hitting, and we lost today to 10-5 to the Washington White Sox.
Wow. Okay.
Or Chicago. Why did I say Washington? The White Sox. Chicago White Sox. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. We've lost 7 or 8 games straight. I don't know. It's pathetic. And
got a whole other half. Maybe it'll change.
Gosh, I'm hoping, man. I was like, okay, well, maybe everyone's in a slump, but then we're 40 games in already, and I'm going, wow, maybe this is just it. Maybe that one World Series run was it. But we'll see. All right, Jeff. Well, it's time for me to ask you, my friend, what is in your locker?
Went and helped with the garage sale today. Kind of set up and everything. Work. I have some news on that, but I'll wait until it's like official.
Nice. I was wondering how the back of but
so I don't like to jinx myself.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, I mean, I watched the Favre deal.
Good. Is it good?
I knew it is. I knew a lot.
We know the story, right?
I knew a lot about
we
it
know
already. Yeah. So a lot of stuff I wasn't too shocked, but they kind of jumble it all together. I've seen stories, the single story about the whole taking the money and everything. And
he's suing the state of
it's still ongoing. I didn't even know that until I watched towards the end. I was like, this is still going on.
Yeah.
So that thing, and then obviously the scandal with the Jets.
That's not a scam. He sent a pic. Come on, that's so stupid.
So,
anyways,
that whole thing was also in there. So it's kind of a lot of things rolled into one. The one thing it is odd that they left out was the the whole drugs thing, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, they left that out.
Yeah, they did. I thought it was weird. I was like, why put all
Addicted
this
to
in?
pain kills.
Yeah, and then forget about that one. They, so it's interesting. There's some stuff in there I didn't know. It's not like it's all like I knew everything going in, and I just sat there and was like, I already know that. I already know that. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's definitely worth a watch. And it's only like one. It's one and done. It's not like it's a series or anything. So yeah. Other than that, watching baseball stuff. I ended up getting YouTube TV because I thought, why not? Because
I like it.
I'm trying to, I look at the subscriptions and I'm like, well, I'm already paying for some of these and they're kind of already adding up to that. So might as well just get that. And that has all in it. At least the stuff we watch outside of like, I guess Netflix and HBO, that's kind of it. So everything else should be that at that point. But yeah, so watching some stuff, a lot of YouTube. I've been playing, I don't know why, but I've been addicted to playing online MLB Show. I don't know why. But it's 2v2 and weird things happen on there. Like someone decided wanted to play a game in the Polo Grounds. Okay. One guy literally, like, I went in and I don't know if they do it randomly or not, but somehow I go try to search for a guy, right? They find one right away, and then he starts picking the team, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the one who searched, right? So I maybe he searched first, I don't know, but somehow randomly, like, they'll pick teams, and I'm like, what? So
you're over here playing with the Miami.
I'll play with random teams. Somebody literally picked somebody. We were the Rockies at one point, and I'm like, who picked this? Who picked that?
Terrible.
So I had to play with them, which was a disaster because we were the Rockies going up against Dodgers. So that was literally just a train wreck. He ended up quitting midway through the match. So
you're like, you picked this, you son of a.
Yeah. So there was that. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I don't know why though. I just something about it. It's fun because it's interesting. It challenges you in different ways.
Yeah,
you're fascinating.
You got a different guy pitching. He may not be as good as you, and then hitting, and vice versa, and it's flipping. Right. I like it.
You start learning tendencies of other players. They learn that you like to swing at you pitches you hate swinging at, which is for me slow and down.
Your curveball.
I'm just like I will literally swing at curveballs, and I'm like, oh, come on. And I know it's coming too. That's the weird part. I'm like, I know he's about to throw that, and it's like I can't help myself. Because I think he's hanging it every time, and it's not. It's crazy. But yeah, been playing that. It's fun. More Helldivers 2. They had an update that a lot of people are. I was just checked earlier, and it was like 160 something thousand players are playing on PlayStation. That's insane.
Nice.
All at the same time. But yeah, just that and work. It's raining right now. So means it's probably headed your way.
Yeah, we're supposed to get it this weekend or this week.
Yeah. So, but yeah, nothing too crazy. What's going on in your locker?
Well, we have been pretty busy. Last weekend we went to Kansas. My niece graduated, so Friday after I got home, we drove the 5.5 hours to Kansas, stayed over the weekend, had a party on Saturday, and then Sunday she graduated. We didn't get done till 8:30 p.m. Had to drive right on back, didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning, had to go to work. Kids had to go to school on Monday. So that was fun. We had a good time out there. And then the Friday before that, I'm at work, and my mom texts me and is like, hey, I want to go to the concert tonight. I'm like, yeah, me too, but I ain't got no tickets. And she said, I bought 2. Come home and we'll go. We went and saw Jelly Roll and Post Malone. So that was fun.
I heard there was some kind of jab at the Cowboys during that, by the way. in that concert on stage.
He's a big Cowboy fan, so I don't know.
Who?
Post Malone. He loves.
No. Yeah. He
Dallas Cowboys.
was wearing a jersey.
Mm-hmm. The whole band was wearing jerseys. So I was like, that's the worst
Jelly
part of the
Roll
show.
was making a comment in a song as Post Malone is walking with him or something. And I saw a clip of that, and I was like, did he really troll the Cowboys in Jerry World?
I don't remember it, but that's great. I said the worst. I looked at Reno and said the worst thing about this concert is that all Post Malone and all his band members are wearing Cowboys jerseys. So that was a good concert. And then yesterday, my Logan graduated, which is considered a stepson pretty much. I've known him since he was got his very first haircut as a kid, child, itty bitty. So we went out there and saw him graduate. We went to eat, and then the church was throwing a cornhole tournament, and I said, well, I'm going to go and dominate that thing. And I won first place. So I'm pretty good at cornhole. Yeah, but other than that, that's pretty much it for me. I'm after this podcast, I'm going to go throw on some pork butts and smoke them. I got to smoke 3, one for us to eat on Sunday, and then 2 of them we're going to shred up. My wife is in charge of girls camp this year and summer camp for the church, and I'm cooking 2 pork butts for them to take and help feed the kiddos. So that ought to be fun. I like smoking meats. It's my first smoke of the summer, so we'll get back into that. And but yeah, so my wife will be gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and just me and the kiddos. But other than that, and just work being busy, just watching sports, rooting on the Dallas Stars, and hoping the Rangers pull their head out of their butts. But all right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of the Sportscast. We thought we covered a little bit of everything. Jeff, it was a good episode, and thanks for jumping on with us. And Craig is bowling tonight so we'll see. He'll be back next Friday night, hopefully, and we'll get back onto our regular schedule Friday night, 8:00 p.m. Central Time, Texas time. Fridays, come join the show on the Sportscast on YouTube. Get into the comment section. We'll talk with you, interact with you, and put you on the show. All right, guys. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.
Nice.